Okay, peeps, welcome back. So today we're going to be talking about how to get paid every week with dividends. And we're going to give you 24 different options here that you guys can invest into if you want to, that will pay you every week or pretty much about every week. Let's get it. So the first week that we want to talk about here is PDI. So the ticker symbol is PDI. That's the PIMCO Dynamic Income Fund. And as you guys can see, the payment date pretty much revolves roughly around the 1st to the 3rd of the month. The dividend yield is 15.1%. You'll get 22 cents per share. The current share price, I can tell you guys right now, is roughly about $17.50 per share. That's $17.50. As you guys can see, that is actually, well, September has 5 months, but if we had 4 months, it would most likely be in the first month. So that's the first pick. Second pick is going to be PFLT, Pennant Park Floating Rate Capital Limited. So as you guys can see on the share price, they're about 1084 a share. The current dividend yield is 11.46%, and they actually just recently had several dividend raises. As you guys can see throughout the history here, they've never really had a cut. They've only ever raised, but they had a time period where they basically were stagnant for a long time, and then they ended up increasing. So you get a little over 10 cents a share. Payment date again is roughly about the 1st to the 3rd, which would pay you in the first week. Keep in mind, if you want to get paid from these particular monthly dividend paying stocks and or ETFs or whatever they are, you have to own the shares before the ex dividend date. If you buy them on the ex dividend date, you are not going to get paid from these. So the third option we have here is kind of a different one. It's ticker symbol NVG, Nuveen AMT Free Municipal Bond Income Fund. The current price is $10.97 per share. One thing that I can tell you guys about this particular fund is anything that has to do with municipal bonds in the United States is tax-free, federally tax-free income. Okay, and maybe not necessarily state if you have state taxes, but on a federal level, you will not have to pay taxes on this unless the tax code changes. If it's changed by the point in time that I made this video, well, then that's a different story. You have to double check with your CPA to make sure that's accurate, or do some research online. So, anyways, you get a 4.66% dividend yield. You get paid 4 cents a share, which again is not as high as the previous ones. But if you want to get paid every week, if you're looking to get paid every week, you want to have more payments than less payments, right? So you get paid on the 1st to roughly about the 3rd of the month. Once again, that rolls around the first week. And our fourth pick here that we're going to talk about is NEA. This is another Nuveen fund. So it's the Nuveen AMT Free Quality Municipal Income Fund, common shares of beneficial interest, par value. Wow, that's really a lot to say. So, anyways, it's roughly about $10 a share. You get a 4% dividend yield. You get basically 3.5 cents per share. As you guys can see over the history here, it kind of has had some dividend cuts, but I mean, again, we're in a Fed tightening cycle, so shouldn't really be surprised by that. I'm not surprised by it. It's been happening basically since the Fed said that they were going to raise rates. So you would get paid this one about the 1st to the 3rd of the month, or the first week of the month. Our fifth pick here is going to be ticker symbol JEPI, or JP Morgan Equity Premium Income ETF. Now we are actually going to bring up another one. We're not really sure if JEPI is the S&P version of this particular fund that JP Morgan has. We haven't done a whole lot of research into it. We do know that it pays monthly, and we did actually, for a while at least, have it in our portfolios. So as you guys can see here, you'll get 7.35% dividend yield. They pay about $4 a year in annual dividends per share. The most recent share price was 55 and a quarter per share. And as of the most recent payout, you'll get paid almost 34 cents a month, and it pays between the 4th and the 7th, which is again roughly about the first week of the month. So we're going to move on to our 6th pick here, which is ticker symbol JEPQ, JP Morgan Nasdaq Equity Premium Income ETF. Again, that's the reason why. If you guys know if JEPI is the S&P version, feel free to let us know. That's fine. We can do our own research, but if you want to comment, go ahead and comment on it. That's fine. So this one, the most recent close was 48.47 per share. You actually get paid more with this than you do with JEPI. That's quite interesting. Maybe it's because the Nasdaq is usually more volatile than the S&P. That might have something to do with it, since Nasdaq is based around tech. So you get an 11.2% yield, $5.40 per year in dividends per share, and you get paid between essentially the 4th and the 7th. Most recent payout was 45 cents per share. Again, rolls around the first week of this month. Keep in mind that these distributions, depending on which month of the year it is, could fluctuate in between weeks. So it's never going to be set in stone. It could move around a little bit. This is just a more or less generalized amount of stocks that you could own to pretty much cover every week of the year, or at least every week of the month. So now on to week 2. Next one we got pick number 7, HRZN, Horizon Technology Finance Corporation. The most recent close was $12.06 per share. You get an 11% dividend yield, pays 11 cents per month, and it falls roughly between the 13th to the 15th, which as of this month would pay technically in the 3rd week, but if the 1st and 2nd weren't there, we would be talking about the 2nd week here. All right, so on to our 8th pick. Ticker symbol BITO. This is the ProShares Bitcoin Strategy ETF. These guys trade future Bitcoin contracts. That's how they pay you a dividend out of this. Now, as you guys know, based on my most recent video, they actually had a dividend cut where they're only basically paying about half a cent per share that you would own. But again, I don't think that's going to last. I think eventually, especially going into the crypto bull run, they will end up paying more in dividends. So the most recent close price was 13.42. In terms of dollar amounts, you get 34.5% dividend yield, $4.62 per year. They pay between the 8th and the 11th. You get 38.5 cents as, well, technically half a cent, but if we're looking at the most recent normal payout, it would be 38.5 cents. Again, I do think it's going to go up in the future. So, all right, so we got pick number 9 here for the 2nd week, which is ticker symbol TLTW, iShares 20 plus year treasury bond buy right strategy. The most recent closing price was $30.46. You get a 13.1% dividend yield. We do actually have this in our portfolio, just to let you know. The most recent payout was 33 cents per share, and they pay usually between the 8th to the 11th, which would be roughly about the 2nd week of the month, assuming that we weren't in a 5-week month. So the next one we have on our list, pick number 10, would be Main Street Capital Corporation, ticker symbol MAIN. This is basically I believe they're a BDC, and they pay a current yield of 6.79%. The most recent close was $40.64. You get paid $2.76 a year per share. The payment dates, as you guys can see, ranges between the 13th to the 15th. You get 23.5 cents per share. If we look at the dividend history of this thing, you guys can actually see that they've been raising in their dividends for a long time. So even though this is a monthly payer, it's actually technically considered to be a dividend growth stock, because it has had a lot of price appreciation over the years. But anyways, so you would get paid about the 2nd week of the month on this one. We're going to move on to the next pick, which some people have mentioned. This is ticker symbol O, Realty Income Corporation. Their recent close was $55, almost exactly, 5.56% dividend yield. You get paid $3 per share per year, 25.5 cents per share. They pay monthly, roughly around the 13th to the 15th of the month. The next pick on our list, which is going to be number 12, is Stag Industrial, ticker symbol STAG. The most recent close on Stag is 36.04. You get paid a 4.04% dividend yield, $1.47 per share per year paid out. You get a little bit more than 12 cents a share, and they pay out roughly about the 15th to the 17th of the month. As you guys can see, they also have been raising their dividends for a long time, so it's a relatively secure dividend here. Now, moving into the third week of the month, we're going to talk about ARA, which is our 13th pick, Brookfield Real Assets Income Fund. The recent close was $12.19 per share. You'd get paid a dividend yield of 19.45 cents and an annual yield of $2.38 per share. Now, keep in mind with this one actually, it hasn't showed up on the NASDAQ.com yet, but I believe it's after this month. They are going to have a dividend cut of about 40%. So there is that. But if you invest in this, you do still get paid some passive income in the third week of the month. So basically, this with 40% taken off the top is what you would get paid. You would get paid between the 23rd to the 26th, which again is not exactly in the third week. It's kind of between the third and fourth week, but it gives you a little bit of diversity. Again, depending on the month of the year, this could actually be in the third week or the fourth week. Next one, option number 14, is going to be PSEC or Prospect Capital Corporation, 601 per share. You get a 12.08% dividend yield. It's about 72 cents a year, and you get paid 6 cents a month. And this would be between the 18th to the 20th. And for our next pick, we're going on to number 15. You got EVN, again, another municipal bond stock. So the recent close was $9.31 per share. You get paid roughly about 5% dividend yield. The payout currently is a little bit less than 4 cents, and you would get paid between the 18th to the 21st. Now, on to the really good stuff, the stuff that all of you guys love, that I love, all that jazz. Give me a second. Let me take a drink. So the high yielding covered call ETFs. So we're going to run through these quick. You guys already know these numbers. Tesla, 68% dividend yield, or actually it's a little bit lower than that, 48%. You get paid roughly around the middle of the month. Most recent payout was, we'll click on this real quick just to be sure. Most recent payout was 58 cents. We're going to go on to the next one here, which is NVDY. And these are all coming from YieldMax for anybody that's new to this channel. So YieldMax funds pay basically all around the same time of the month. You get a bunch of different options that you can buy, but they all pay at the same time. So you got NVDY. This one recently paid out 92 cents, pays between the 14th to the 18th. Scroll back here, you see NVDY pays 49.93, almost 50% yield. And the next pick that we have, which is the last pick for the third week of the month, is OARC. $14.60 a share, 55.41% dividend yield. That actually changed recently, so it's actually 29.64% as of the most recent payout, which is this month. And the most recent payout that you would get, not really sure why the NASDAQ is not updating this. It's being kind of slow about it. But the most recent payout that you get is basically about 36.5 cents a share. So now let's get into the last week of the month. So our next pick number 19, would be GOOD, Gladstone Commercial Corporation Real Estate. So this is a REIT. It's $13.12 a share. You get paid 10 cents a month, and it would pay between the 29th to the 31st. As you guys can see, it had a dividend cut, but unfortunately, a lot of these stocks have had dividend cuts. Even some dividend growth stocks have had dividend cuts, so you'd still be getting paid. Now, our next pick, which is pick number 20, is going to be River North Opportunities Fund Inc. The most recent closing price was $11.02 per share. You get paid 13.6% dividend yield. It's a little bit less than 13 cents a month. And again, it pays between about the 28th to the 31st. You get $1.53 per share per year. And we're going to take a look at the brother or sister company here, which is OPP, or sister fund, I should say, brother fund, whatever the case. So River North Double Line Strategic Opportunity Fund, $8.38 per share. And it pays a little bit higher yield at 14.67%. You get $1.22 per year. And again, it pays in the fourth week of the month. Now, the next one, which is also a fan favorite, and we actually own this fund as well, that's CLIP, CraneShares China Internet and Covered Call Strategy ETF. Most recent closing price, $17.90. The dividend yield as of current is 55.63. But then again, this is not accurate. So let's go over to CraneShares and take a look at this real quick. So let's scroll over to the different ETFs they have and click on one as soon as we find it. So, okay, this is the page we want. So we got the CLIP here, CLIP distributions. So let's take a look at the distributions. So the most recent distribution was a little over 83 cents per month. And again, I'm not really sure why it's not showing up on the NASDAQ.com, but yeah, roughly about 83 cents per month. And again, a 55.63% dividend yield. So this basically covers the internet sector of China, pretty much is what it is. So our next pick that we're going to look at is Ellington Financial, ticker symbol EFC, which the recent close on that was $13.24 share. We do actually own this fund. You get a 13.5% dividend yield, $1.80 a year, 15 cents a month, and you would get paid between the 25th to the 27th. And the last pick that we have, and keep in mind this is not an all-encompassing list, there is more options that we could have picked, but for diversity and yield sake, we decided to go with these, is BSTZ, BlackRock Science and Technology, Term Trust. Just so you guys know, BlackRock is the largest asset manager in the world. They have over 10 trillion in assets, and they are currently trying to get into Bitcoin and crypto. So that should tell you just basically how big BlackRock is. They pretty much want to, I guess, take everybody's Bitcoin or something. Of course, I'm not saying that as being true, but they have a lot of money. Let's just put it like that. So BSTZ, closing price $16.97, and the payment date that you would have is roughly between the 28th to the 31st, and the amount that you would get paid out per month, which again did have a dividend cut, but keep in mind we're in a Fed tightening cycle, so some money is better than no money, right? 16 cents per share, and that's going to go ahead and wrap up the video. I hope you guys enjoyed this content. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Let us know what you guys plan on buying. Do you like the idea of a weekly dividend portfolio? What are your picks? Let us know, and we'll see y'all later. Peace.